All right, A to Z Sports. We are live for the Titans halftime show on our Titans Game Day Live. Sam Phelan here with Jack Gentry after the same old Titans are getting pounded in Duval right now. It is a score of 13-0. Jacksonville leads the Titans, and quite frankly, probably feels like it should be a lot worse than that with the way that the Titans have played. Not a ton going right so far. Maybe a couple positive flashes that we're here to talk about, but really a bad and ugly first half. So, Jack, before we jump into everything, tell everybody what they got to do.
Yeah, tough first half, guys, but we're going to want to share the show. If you're watching on Facebook, share it to your Titans groups. I want to hear all of y'all's reactions and what y'all think of the second half coming up. So if you're watching on Facebook, share it to all your Titans groups. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you tap those notifications, tap the bell icon at the top of your screen to turn those notifications on so you get an update every time A to Z Sports goes live or posts anything to their YouTube channel. Finally, if you're watching on Twitch, text that Twitch links to all your friends, your family. Get them in here. We're going to hear from everybody. We want to take the temperature of the fan base after an ugly first half from the Tennessee Titans. But with all that being said, Sam, I think it's time to dive right into it.
All right, before we do that, a quick reminder about all of our Game Day Live partners. Want to show some love to them. That's X Golf Nashville, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain at xgolfnashville.com. The Mint Gaming Hall, home of big jackpots and big fun, 35 minutes north of Nashville, themintgaming.com. BetMGM, use the code ATOZ200 for a $10 moneyline wager that can turn into $200 in bonus bets instantly. An official partner of the Tennessee Titans, BetMGM. The law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, wherever justice demands, at amandajgentry.com. Chim Chimney for all your chimney needs at chim-chimneyinc.com. Adventure Science Center, explore and discover at adventurecsi.org. And Jarrett Fire HVAC and Plumbing, jarrettcompanies.com to keep your facilities comfortable and secure. Jack, I mean, do you have any? This is the same old Titans to me, and some of their sequences today have absolutely summed up the season for Tennessee. They have 3 defensive penalties. They've all come on third down to, give Jacksonville automatic first downs and extend drives. They have had self-inflicted wounds every single time that they get into plus territory, whether it's a sack, whether it's a bad snap and a fumble, whether it's a dropped pass from Chig on a great series that would have been a gain of 15 yards and hit him in the belly. I mean, it is the same old stuff, different day here for the Titans. And frankly, Jack, I think they are significantly outmanned and outgunned in every single aspect at every single aspect. There is not a position group on the field right now where the Titans are better than Jacksonville, except maybe punter. I mean, they are the worst team by a significant margin. It's bad football.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's bad football. We talked about the X factor before the game, and we mentioned the offensive line a lot, right? Like they got Brunskill back. Hubbard's on the right side now, right tackle. He's back as well. But Radin's the left tackle. The guy we didn't talk about was Aaron Brewer, who continues to shoot the Titans in the foot. I believe, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the third turnover that is on Aaron Brewer's tab with another bad snap to Levis. It feels like he's got something against Levis with how high he snaps the ball on a regular basis to the rookie quarterback. Aaron Brewer not only had a bad snap that resulted in a turnover, but he also allowed a sack. He is playing he's bad. He stinks right now. But the problem is you have nobody behind him that can come in and play any better because there's no depth up front. And while that's one issue, you mentioned that the Titans are outmanned, outgunned at every position across the board. But you can't look this bad week in and week out just because you don't have the guys. Like the New York Giants right now are beating the Commanders 14-3 in the first half, and they have an offense that probably wouldn't even average 30 in the SEC.
Tommy DeVito's first half is as good as is a better first half than we've seen from the Titans passing game since Atlanta. I mean, they have now played, Jack, 26 quarters of football away from Nissan Stadium this year. The Titans have. They have 3 touchdowns in those 26 quarters of football away from Nissan Stadium. It is tough to watch. And you singled out Aaron Brewer there. And really, that's the problem with this offensive line in general is it's always somebody. It's always something. I mean, some of these guys might be doing their job and winning their rep 80% of the time, but there's always somebody getting beat. And so there's always some sort of weakness. And like, so on a day that I haven't really called Dylan Radins' name as being like, oh, that's a problem, left tackle's getting beat, it's your center. And then there's days where you're like, oh, well, the center and the right side are doing their job and Andre Dillard's a revolving door or Chris Hubbard's getting beat. Like, it's always somebody, it's always something. And that's really the real mark of a bad football team and a team that is just not good across the board. Derrick Henry hit in the backfield, absolutely no room to run. Again, they are right now maybe the worst team in football.
They're bottom 5, and it just feels like
they're
it's like
bottom
cartoon.
3. I mean, Arizona is better than them right now with Kyler Murray. Absolutely. Like right now, the Titans might be playing the worst football in the sport.
It's like that cartoon of the dam that's leaking, right? You stick your finger in one hole and another one springs somewhere else. And whenever you cover that one up, there's another issue. Aaron Brewer's a problem. Okay, plug that up. Okay, now Radins is the issue. Plug that up. Okay, Chig keeps dropping passes. Will Levis had like 3 turnover-worthy throws at minimum in the first half.
Yeah,
he's under pressure the entire time. He's taken 2 sacks.
And Will Levis did not respond to pressure well today. I mean, he took some sacks, but like, you can't make bad decisions just because you're under pressure. And that is, where I feel like Will Levis has done a really good job for the most part in the weeks prior. He has not done a good job of that today. Like you said, a couple times eludes pressure, evades the sack, tries to make something happen, tries to force the ball. And it's like, we can't make that decision right there. And so it like every single thing is broken right now. Jeffrey Simmons is playing very well. DeAndre Hopkins is playing pretty well. Ryan Stonehouse is playing pretty well. End of list for me.
I called the end around to Chris Moore, which worked for 38 yards, and then Aaron Brewer goes and ruins the drive.
And then Chig dropped the ball off the numbers, and then you had a bad snap. So, I mean, this is like Stacy wants to know why we're not rolling Will Levis out. Well, now he's got an ankle injury. So, I mean, now you've got potential inability to escape pressure because his legs are now, and this is what we talk about, right? You get your quarterback hit 20 times a game, eventually he's going to have some sort of injury.
One person we haven't mentioned this halftime show is Mike Vrabel, and usually when bad teams are at this point in the season where there's nothing left to play for, players quit on coaches, right? I feel like it's opposite here. I feel like the coaching staff has quit on this roster. The way that the offense is called, the timeouts on third down, you don't trust Will Levis when he got the snap off and threw it to NWI. The play looked like it was going nowhere, but you end up converting on first down. Who cares? It does feel like Mike Vrabel has quit on this roster. He's calling conservatively still. Will Levis still has training wheels on him. They're taking no shots down the field. There's just no nuance. There's no ingenuity. There's no creativity. And it just feels like the coaching staff has been sleepwalking for the last 5 weeks. That's how it feels for me.
I mean, at some point, what can you do, man? I mean, like
anything.
No, listen, dude, we've been asking. I disagree because we've been asking this question forever. And I thought you were like, it was on the fence a couple weeks ago of like, well, defensively, right? Is it Shane Bowen problem or a personnel problem? It's a personnel problem. The players suck. The players suck. It's the worst roster maybe in football. They suck. They're trash. UDFA after UDFA after UDFA after missed draft pick of John Robinson. Penalty, getting beat deep, whatever it is. Like it's a bad team. It doesn't matter who's calling plays. It doesn't matter who this coaching staff is. These guys are trash. Like they're not NFL players. A majority of them.
Come on. That's ridiculous to say.
What are we talking about here? These guys,
that's ridiculous to say. Look, there are players on this team that can absolutely help and contribute. There are worse offenses.
Sure, yes, there are players
There are worse offenses in the NFL that are having more success than the Titans. Now, what is that?
That makes them not a worse offense. If you have more success than the Titans, you're a better offense than the Titans.
So the Giants today, you would say the Giants after one performance are better.
Overall, the Titans are a worse offense than the Titans, but they've also performed worse than the Titans right now. And they're working with an absolute shell of what their offense was supposed to be. But I'm specifically referring to some of the guys you've got on defense and some of the dudes that you're being forced to play on the offensive line right now. this is like, it's not a competitive NFL roster by any means. I
No,
mean,
it's well, it's
there are talented pieces here, right? Like Azeez Al-Shire, I think is a
exactly.
very talented player on a very, very bad defense. But it's
Defensive
hard
line, it's redeemable.
ish. Yeah, I mean, Jeff is great. Jeff is getting his job done.
Jeff, Autry, Landry have decent numbers this year, but the back end is the problem. And
I mean,
you know what?
Harold Landry's been awful all year.
He's got 5 sacks, I think.
I
But
don't care
on
about
the
sacks.
back end, well, some people do. The guys who
Not
pay
the kind of sacks
care.
he's getting. He's getting the sacks that his guy running into him, and he sacks him for a loss of 1 yard. Harold Landry hasn't won a one-on-one matchup to get after the quarterback that I can remember. I mean,
Well,
like,
he did have a sack that essentially resulted in a win against the Chargers. But like the defense is held up for the most part today. The pass interference on the third down, it was a bailout PI call just because that ball was so far underthrown. That came back to bite the Titans.
no, yeah, that was not a bailout PI call. He got torched. His receiver was 10 yards in front
But
of him.
the ball was 5 yards behind.
Right, but that's the problem with getting beat is if you're beat and then there's an underthrown ball, you're out of position and you're going to get penalized. Like, that's not a bailout call. I mean, it's a bad rule that it's a spot foul, but it's a Roger McCreary getting beat on third down deep by his guy.
Yeah, but the ball was underthrown. I'm saying that pass had no chance of being completed, and due to the fact that it was underthrown, it was like one of those Carson Wentz throws where, the best incompletion in football is one where you underthrow your receiver on a deep route, and the cornerback can't get his head around, and he just runs into the receiver as he's trying to fight back for the football. That was one of those. It's a frustrating call because the ball had no chance of being completed. But look, that's at the bottom of the list of the Titans' problems right now. They can't move the ball in offense. Derrick Henry has no room to run. Will Levis has no time to throw. And even when he does, Chig has a drop ready for him.
Therein lies the problem on both sides of the ball, Jack, is Levis has no time to throw, so you're afraid to pass, but Derrick has no room to run, which doesn't open up the pass. And defensively, I've seen people saying, well, the defensive scheme is trash, and why aren't you blitzing more and stuff like that? Well, like, your guys can't cover. Like Christian Fulton and Roger McCreary are getting beaten man coverage every time that you trust them to cover. So you can't cover. And then if you drop guys back and try and, send more guys deep to give some help for the explosive passing plays, and you do 4 guys rushing the quarterback, you can't get after the quarterback or stop the run. And this has been the issue that the Titans have tried to toe this line. It's just the roster that doesn't do enough well to win games. So, I mean, let's ask the question. I have a feeling I know where this one's going to go, Jack, but chat, what's your confidence level in the Titans winning this game against the Jags 1 through 10?
Let's see those zeros.
Jack, why don't you just here, we got a quick Sam sounds like the fans, Jack sounds like the regular media. Okay. Fair point. Fair enough point. I mean, hey, I like to think media is a voice for the fans sometimes, and we're here having a talk show to entertain the fans. I'm not there covering the team right now, so
it's hard to entertain people when the Titans, who are supposed to be entertaining all of us, have left us with nothing positive to talk about. Right? We start eating each other alive in the chat, and it's a hard conversation to have. And we're seeing, after the confidence question, we're seeing zeros roll in all over the place.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the chat. Let's see what the chat's saying here.
Okay, I'm going to try and start as close to the top as I can here. We'll just start it off here with Marvin, who says negative 20,000. Darian on Facebook says -1. Cameron says -10 on YouTube. Mixed Whisper says 1. Nuclear -100. Andrew 0. Evan James 1.1. Tyler -10. Jonathan -3.14. Anthony at a 0. T. Shannon's at a 2. Collins at a -100. Connor's at a 1. Dylan Cole's at a 0. It's hard to go anywhere above a 1. It's a 1. The Titans haven't won on the road in what? How many days, Sam? 367?
367, and it looks like it's going to continue. Yeah, it can't be above a 1. I'm at a 0. You're at a 1. And weird because it's still a 2-score game, right? But Jags get the ball out of the half, and you have to look at this objectively. And the Titans have gotten beat in just about every area so far. And it's hard to be optimistic about them magically turning this thing around. It feels like you're walking on even when the Titans are doing things well right now, Jack, it feels like you're walking on eggshells waiting for something to blow up. And so far it's delivered pretty much every time.
the Titans have no life right now, so there has to be a play that the coaching staff is going to turn to that helps kind of reinvigorate this team. Is it a fake punt? We haven't seen that all season. It's a divisional game against the Jags. Like I said in the pregame show, you have to
I
throw
like
kitchen
that.
sink at them.
I love that idea, Jack, because
Could a fake punt get the life back on this sideline?
and at this point, right, like where you're at right now in this game, I understand why Mike Vrabel didn't go for it on that 4th and 1 from where they
Yeah.
were at on the field. But I think in the second half, you might just have to do it now. And if you don't get it, you're giving up points on the other end. And who cares? If you don't take those swings right now, if you don't find a play like you're mentioning, that fake punt or that onside kick, that random risky thing to flip this game, you've got no shot. You have to
Yes.
find like
100% agree. 100% agree. What do you have to lose? We said Mike Vrabel has been coaching this team like they have everything to lose, when in reality, there's nothing left to lose. Onside kick, fake punt, 4th down call. Something has to get this life back on this team. They're sleepwalking. They're dead in Jacksonville. They need the coaching staff to help them out.
All right, we'll see where it goes from here. That's all for the halftime show. Like the show before you guys go. You don't have to like the result of the game to like the show. Jack and I will be back post game to run everything down. We'll see how ugly this thing gets in Jacksonville. We'll be back afterwards. Thanks, guys. See you later.